Ultrasound, what do you mean by ultrasound? Any idea about what is ultrasound? Any idea? Ultrasound is a sound wave transmitted and the time taken for it to travel from the organ it has struck and back. So this to and fro distance, that the time taken by the sound wave to travel is translated into electrical energy, into a photo, ultrasound shadow. So it is the sound wave frequency with greater than 20 kilohertz per second, which is beyond the audible range of human ear. That is why ultra sound, beyond human ear's hearing range, which is within 20 to 20,000 hertz, and this is megahertz. 2 to 15 megahertz. Megahertz means 10 to the power 6. Okay, this is basics, which is equivalent to 2 megahertz to 15 megahertz. This is the range. 10 to the power 6. See. So this range is significantly higher than the upper limit of human hearing, which is around 20 kilohertz. 20 kilohertz, from 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz. This is basic. You can have questions, just a line on it. What do you mean by ultrasound wave? It has high frequency sound waves to create real-time pictures or video of internal organs or other soft tissues such as blood vessels. So the sound wave travels from a transducer, strikes at the organ concerned and reflects back. This is the time taken. That is translated into pictures or video. Clear? Basic, this you should understand. Changing the basic components of USG machine. Have you seen a USG machine? Go down to the radiology department, see the machine for yourself. There will be a monitor, a transducer, a keyboard, the pulse controls, the drive where you will keep the stored information, and the onboard computer. This is the basic of a computer, the USG machine. A typical ultrasound has 5 basic parts. The transducer from which the sound waves will be transmitted. It can be transabdominal, transvaginal, or transrectal. These are 3 that we basically need for OBS-GYN. Processing unit, receiver and processor to detect and amplify the energy received and transform into image for display. So this is sound wave converted into electrical energy which is being displayed. That is a display or monitor, a front panel with knobs where your radiologist will work, and the storage of USG images. You can go back to those images even if the patient has left. So this will help you to come to any diagnosis or a record keeping can be made. The transducer sends out sound waves and receives the echoes, which are then processed by the computer and displayed as an image. How is it formed? See how the sound wave is transmitted from the transducer. It is going to the surface and coming back. So time return is 2d by v, that is twice the distance by the velocity. So ultrasound images are formed by sending high frequency sound waves into the body and analyzing the reflected echoes. You know what is an echo? Echo is produced because you shout and it comes back from a distance after striking the surface. This is how this principle is being utilized to form the USG, a transducer which both emits the sound waves and receives the returning echoes. It is both transmitting and receiving. The time it takes for the echoes to return as well as the strength is used to create a grayscale image. This is grayscale image. It will range from black to white. This is a grayscale image. This is sonar, sound navigation and sonar. So ultrasound imaging is known as sonography. This is emitted by the transducer, which is the piezoelectric crystal. This sound is traveling to the body and reflected back, encountering different tissues. Different tissues have different reflecting capacity. That is how the difference between the different organs can be made out. The time it takes for these echoes to return and the strength are analyzed to create a real-time image. At this point of time, if you see the organ, how it looks like, it is not a past photo. Just as you have a video of yourself, selfie, group fee, whatever you take, this is like this. A real-time image is being recorded. The standard USG images are B mode or brightness mode. This is a 2D image of anatomical structures where the brightness of each point corresponds to the strength of the reflected ultrasound signal. The how fast it is going and coming back. That will differ for each organ. This is the B mode. And M mode or motion mode displays the movement of structures over time along a single line. That is the motion. The structure is moving. The heart, the blood vessel, these are moving, constantly moving. So it is taking a reflected sound, is traveling and coming back. So there will be a change in the velocity of coming back of different moving organs. Then there is the colored Doppler and pulse wave ultrasound based on the principle of Doppler frequency shift, which means that the change in frequency and wavelength between the incident wave and the reflected wave. So if something is moving, how will you adjust the speed, the velocity? So this is utilized by putting some color. Color red is moving towards and blue is moving away. This is how it is depicted. See, between the incident wave and the reflected wave. When the wave interacts with a moving structure, such as RBC in the, say, the umbilical artery, the Doppler shifted audible signals can be converted into visual signals. This is flow velocity waveform. This depicts presence, direction and flow, velocity of flow, red towards the transducer and blue away from it. And 3D images, this is the more developed ultrasound machines can take a 3D image where you have a more lifelike image of the organ. You have a 3D view. 2D view is less simulating to the organ. 3D picture is more simulating. You have seen 3D movies with 3D specs. So that is how you see a 3D structure or organ. USG terminologies you should understand. Echo structure. This is the reflected waves of varying magnitude give a typical architecture of an organ. Different velocity of traveling, different reflecting back velocity. This will give you an echo texture. And what is echogenicity? Hyperechoic means high amplitude echoes produce brighter image than the surrounding. The fetal bones, this produce a more white structure. So this is called hyperechoic structure. And hypoechoic means less echogenous. That is, it is darker than the surrounding. It will be less bright, it will be dark than the surrounding. And anechoic is no echo reflection. Sonolution completely black with distal acoustic enhancement. Example, say the fetal bladder or stomach. It doesn't reflect light. It doesn't reflect sound. So it will be anechoic, no echo. No sound wave is passing. And there will be a distal acoustic. The organ distal to it will be visualized. This principle will be utilized in ultrasound and obstetrics or gynae where we have a full bladder. We always do the ultrasound with a full bladder because this will become the media through which you can see the organ distal to the bladder. This is the principle. Now in the first trimester, how we see, it is defined as the first 13 weeks, 12 to 13 weeks, following the last menstrual period. You must be aware of these three phases of first trimester, 3 to 5 weeks. This is just the gestational sac, which is too small to be seen for. Within 3 weeks, it is not visible. After 4 weeks, it is visible. Then there is the embryonic phase, 6 to 10 weeks. The fetal phase, 10 to 12 weeks. The whole thing is up to 12 weeks. They have said 13 weeks, 12 to 13 weeks. This is the first trimester. Second trimester from 12 to second trimester. পরীক্ষা হয়ে গেছে তো একটা 28. No mistake about it. 24 ডট বললে হবে না, নম্বর পাবে না. It is 13 to 28 and last trimester 28 weeks to delivery. So discriminatory level of, how do you detect pregnancy? With beta HCG level, serum beta HCG. Do you know this is the hormone that we detect to detect pregnancy? When a gestational sac is visible, the beta HCG level is around 1000 to 1200 by TVS. So transvaginal sonography is more informative, more distinctive. So we use, at 1000 milliunits of beta HCG, we can see a gestational sac. We'll come to it. And the transabdominal, the level should go up to 6000 to have the gestational sac. Then 1 week delay. And then yolk sac is visible at 7000 in case of transabdominal. Embryo itself will be visible at 11,000 milliunits per mm. Now, what is the aim of first trimester scan? We want to see whether there is pregnancy or not. So, confirmation. Then the gestational age and the due date of delivery. Gestational age is calculated from the last menstrual period. Whether it is corroborating with what patient is saying, that is the history of the last period, and what you are seeing on ultrasound. Whether, and the clinical parts, because by this, at this first trimester, it is not palpable abdominally. You have to do a pelvic examination, per vaginal examination, which is not very accurate for each individual. So we have to standardize. This standardization is done with ultrasound. It has a more quantitative assessment. We say it is like, say, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 12 weeks. This is how we used to measure the size of the uterus when ultrasound was not so prevalent. Then we did look after our patients, but it was more difficult. Now ultrasound gives us a more vivid picture. How do we do it? By measuring the crown rump length. That's crown rump length. I will tell you how it is calculated and whether the pregnancy is viable, how many fetuses are there, that is the number of pregnancies, and early screening for abnormalities. We have to detect abnormalities at the earliest. Why? Because if it is not a normal fetus, you have the option to terminate it within the time period of the law, permitted by the law of the land. MTP class hoyeche. How far you can terminate? 24. 24. Not 20 anymore. One gynecologist, one obstetrician can terminate till 20. Till 24, 2 obstetricians can opine. So that is why it is so important that we detect any abnormality at the earliest. Why give the pain of terminating at a later age? Mother is thinking of a child to come and you are prolonging the pregnancy and then finally you say the baby is deformed. How will you feel? The same thing the patient feels. So you have to detect at your earliest. So this is how the early screening of abnormalities should be done. Down syndrome by measuring the nuchal translucency and other pelvic pathologies. Not only pregnancy, she might have a fibroid, she might have a ovarian cyst. That is best detected in the first trimester. As the fetus grows, it takes up the volume of the abdomen. These things do not get visible so properly in later trimesters. Clear? The first trimester scan, so it is done within first 14 weeks, is a procedure to confirm pregnancy. It is done between 6 to 13, and types of scans are, transabdominal, transvaginal. Which is more informative? But it requires more training. More accurate the diagnosis, more steeper the learning curve. If you want to reach your patient more, you have to train yourself, upskill yourself every day. Every day. Until date I am standing here, every day you learn something. Please keep your senses open. Eyes, ears open. Let the knowledge imbibe. Okay, then only you can do justice to your patient. If you don't know, how will you do? But the mind doesn't see. Mind doesn't know. Eyes do not see. This ultrasound is making you see. So these are the things that you will see. Confirmation of pregnancy by the first structure that you see is the gestational sac, GS, gestational sac. These are the short forms that the radiologist or the fetal medicine experts use. This is a subspecialty nowadays. Fetal medicine people, they just do this part, the scanning of ultrasound, then amniocentesis, chordocentesis, all this is their job. So this is the G-sac, yolk sac and fetal pole. These are visible in this series. First structure to be visualized. Louder please. I am shouting at double your age, please. Give me back. Give me the reflected sound, please. Gestational sac. Then comes the yolk sac. Then the fetal pole. The G-sac appears first. Yolk sac, fetal pole. Cardiac activity comes around 6 weeks if you scan transabdominally. If you scan transvaginally, you can see it at 5 weeks. The presence of these structures strongly suggests an IUP, intrauterine pregnancy. What else do you have to see? Whether the pregnancy is in the right place or not. If it is in the tube, first trimester is gone. Do you understand what I mean to say? First trimester over. You have entered in second trimester. What is the meaning? When does it end? Diamond ring. This is the yolk sac. It is visible at 5 to 5.5 weeks on periods. Okay. 4.5 to 5 by transvaginal. Yolk sac at 5 to 5.5 weeks and fetal pole 5.5 to 6 weeks. So by 6 weeks, if you can't see anything, you should have your doubts. Is this pregnancy, is it thriving or it is heading towards a demise? Blighted ovum is a misnomer. Ovum is not blighted here. Here the embryo is dying. The presence of these structures confirms an intrauterine pregnancy. This part is clear? First trimester, you have missed it. This is the double decidual sign. You have, go back to your anatomy class. You have the decidua parietalis and the decidua capsularis. These two make up the double decidual sign. If you get this sign, you are more likely to get a healthy live embryo. The fetus is surviving. It is viable. The first sign, again I am saying double decidual sign, seen at 4.5 to 5 weeks, initially eccentric in location. See, it is eccentric, not at the center. This excludes the pseudo-gestational sac. See, this is pseudo-gestation. This is just a collection of fluid in the endometrium. This is not gestational sac. Usually gestational sac is eccentric. That is, it's not perfectly at the center. Can you see? Both of you, can you see? So this is the sign. This is the diamond ring. The appearance gives the yolk sac, which represents the ring. Yolk sac is the ring and the embryo is the diamond. If you see this, you are happy that your embryo is fine. You can counsel your patients. You can confidently say that so far your pregnancy is going fine. This is the sequence of events. The small fluid collection at present, yolk sac, embryo appears, and then the amnion. Amnion is the membrane which contains the amniotic fluid surrounding the embryo. This is a case of early pregnancy failure. What are the types of miscarriage? We don't call it abortion anymore. We call it miscarriage. A spontaneous miscarriage, a threatened miscarriage, inevitable, complete, incomplete, and missed. This picture is not very clear. I got it scanned, magnified. That is why the resolution has gone down. Threatened miscarriage. Any idea what is it? Threatened miscarriage. Threatened miscarriage is a process of miscarriage which has proceeded to such an extent. বাংলায় বললো হবে কি If the examiner is coming from Tamil, he will not understand. He will not. Then don't use your regional language if you are not facing a regional examiner of your region. So miscarriage, the process of miscarriage has extended to such an extent that it might revert back to viable one, that is threatened. It has not gone to such an extent that it will not survive. Inevitably, it has gone to such an extent from which it cannot be revived. And complete is it has completely expelled. Incomplete, partially expelled. And missed miscarriage is the fetus, the embryo has undergone a demise, but it is retained within the uterus. Usually, we used to say it is retained for 4 weeks or more. We call it a missed miscarriage. Patient doesn't know about it. How will the patient know she is having miscarriage? Any idea? How will the patient present to you? Not exercise, any bleeding, any. First trimester, you will get fetal movements. We are still in first trimester. She is having bleeding. Any bleeding should spark the button of doubt that she might face a miscarriage. It is a threatened miscarriage. The pregnancy is being threatened. That means facing a challenge. Now, gestational dating. We can detect a pregnancy at say 29 to 35 days of LMP. She has missed a period by 5 days overdue, you can detect. The true gestational sac, I'm just going through it, eccentric, see. Gestational sac in days. The MSD is the mean sac diameter. You add 30 days to it, you get the gestational days in age in days. So if you see a scan next time, try to read it. Don't take whatever your report is saying. Try to read the plate. Our undergraduates should be able to have basic knowledge about this ultrasound. Double decibel sign, sorry. So this is the double decidual signs we have talked about. The presence of the yolk sac and fetal pole. True gestational sac increases 1 millimeter per day. So if you get a interval growth, say you see a scan today and you again tell them to repeat after 2 weeks. If you see the growth has increased by 1 millimeter, you can rest assured that this pregnancy is going fine. And how will you calculate the gestational age? So CRL also, that is the crown rump length that we were talking about, that also increases about 1 millimeter per day. So you add 42 days to CRL to have the gestational age in days, and you add 30 days to MSD to have the gestational age in days. So if your scan is showing a gestational sac only, you can calculate the date. And if you have come up to CRL, that means crown rump length will come later on. Then also you will get the date. Okay? And later on, in the later trimester, TMS trimester, you will be able to get the dates with the BPD, the fetal length, femoral length, the head circumference and the abdominal circumference. These are the biometric parameters that are taken into account in second and third trimester. When is the third trimester? 28 to 30. Okay. And second trimester? 12 to 28 weeks. Fine? So this is the pregnancy development in early trimester as per TVS, and TAS is transabdominal. So when you see the gestational sac, a round shape, internal cystic echo, 2 layers of wall. So this is the features at 4 to 4.5. Embryo fetal pole at 5 to 7 weeks. Fetal heartbeat 5 to 6 weeks at TVS and 7 to 8 weeks at TAS. That means at transabdominal scan, picks up the information a little later, because transvaginal we are going closer to the embryo. And 8 to 9 weeks or 9 to 10 weeks placenta, ventricles, these are seen. What is crown rump length? It is a measurement used in early pregnancy to estimate gestation length. The longest length of the embryo measured from top of the head to the bottom of the buttocks, excluding the limbs and yolk sac. This is the crown rump length. Accurate measurement typically between 7 to 13 weeks. It determines the gestational age. While the embryo transitions to a fetus after 10 weeks, CRL remains a crucial measurement for dating the pregnancy during this period. So it is mostly important in the first trimester. This is how the measurement is taken. See the top of the head to the buttocks, excluding the limbs and the yolk sac. Yolk sac is somewhere dangling here. Right? Now for the dating, we have discussed the mean sac diameter. Here, if it is 6 millimeter, we can see, we are supposed to see a yolk sac. 12 millimeter, we are supposed to get a cardiac activity. If you don't get a cardiac activity and your sac diameter is 12, you should have your doubts. Maybe this pregnancy is not thriving well. It might meet with a threatened miscarriage and ultimately perhaps total miscarriage. And cardiac activity should be present when your CRL is at least 4 millimeter. This is again what we have discussed so far. What are the factors we are supposed to see? This is dating of pregnancy. This is a bit difficult. If you ever do postgrads in obs gynae, you can take up this. If your calculation and the dates provided do not match by how many days, then you have to again reschedule the dating. It is criteria for redating. We are skipping this, not so important for your undergraduate class. This is the NT scan. NT scan, when do you do? Yeah, 11 to 13 weeks, 6 days. Why do we want to do it early? Because if you detect any, what do we detect by NT scan? Which aneuploidies? One. Trisomy? And it is a nuchal translucency of 3 millimeter. See, this is the thickness that we see. Trisomy, কি বললে তোমরা? একটা 16 শুনেছি আমি। হ্যাঁ, 16 নয়। 13, 18, 21. 21 হচ্ছে, এটা ভুল হচ্ছে এখানে, ট্রাইজোমি হবে। হ্যাঁ, ট্রাইজোমি 13, 18, triploidy and Turner. Turner হচ্ছে 45XO. All this we can detect by this scan. And what is the test that we do? What is the blood test we do along with this NT scan? Double marker. Double marker. What do we study in double marker? This is not USG class, but it is, you are having a comprehensive class now. HCG, PAPE. PAPE and HCG. This is a, what is this? What is this? First say twin pregnancy. Then lambda T will come later. What do you think this is? Why dichorionic diamniotic? Lambda sign. Lambda sign, it is a thick structure between two sacs. That is, it is 4 layered. 2 amnion, 2 chorion. That is why diamniotic, dichorionic. This is the lambda sign. Any other sign that you know of in twin pregnancy? T sign. It is present in which cases? Monocorion. প্রথমে ভুলে যাচ্ছে। Monocorionic diamnionitic. ঠিক আছে? This is the twin peak sign. We call it the twin peak sign. But it is not only for twins. এটাও একটু postgraduate level এর কথা হচ্ছে, but it's good to know. This is the monocorionic shared placenta. 2 amnion. So this is T shaped. See? And this is the lambda shaped. Amnion, chorion. This is the fused dichorionic placenta. That is diamniotic dichorion. This must we do. And twin peak sign we say that is the lambda sign, triangular appearance of chorioning insinuating between the layers of intertwined membrane. There can be multiple pregnancy. It is showing the chorionicity between adjacent fetuses. There can be multiple fetus. Between two fetus, this is the sign. That means these two fetus are either monochorionic or dichorionic. For the two adjacent fetus, twin peak sign is this is not only for twins. It refers to the presence of two peaks, but that relates to two twins. In pregnancy with more than two fetuses, the chorionicity and amnioticity of each fetus may be different. And therefore, this sign only aids in determining the chorionicity of adjacent twins. বোঝা গেল মানে two fetuses at a time. এত কমপ্লিকেশন লাগবে না, you just remember lambda sign, T sign, and what is monochorionic and dichorionic. Monochorionic can be monochorionic, monoamniotic, monochorionic, diamniotic, but dichorionic, diamniotic is seldom monoamniotic হবে না. Dichorionic, diamniotic is more common. And this comes with IVF twin যখন discuss হবে তখন আবার we can discuss about that. So this one can you diagnose? This is the T sign, which is it? T sign. So what is your diagnosis? First it is a twin, and then that ভুল বলবে না, এত করে পড়াচ্ছি ভুল বলবে না প্লিজ. And this is diamniotic. প্রথমে twin. What type? You have to mention the chorionicity and the amniocity, and the zygosity is different. That is different. So this you be, if you get a OSP on this, you can answer it, right? This is again, this is failed fetus, pregnancy failure, single ring. We have a double ring here, so this pregnancy is healthy. This is not. This is a pseudo sac. What is this? H-mole. We had enough on this internal assessment of H-mole, huh? You know everything of H-mole. So now for the ultrasound. Snowstorm appearance. You have to know the histopathology of H-mole. Huh? What is it in short? That is the karyotype. That is for partial mole. What is the commonest karyotype for H-mole? Who contributes most? The sperm. ভুল হচ্ছে, মা কিছু করে না. It is the empty ovum and the sperm either duplicates or it fertilizes. So it is either 46XX or 46XY and partial হলো 69XXY. So this is the normal gestational sac, and see this is a threatened miscarriage with a, this is hypoechoic. We have discussed what is hypoechoic. Hypoechoic মানে কি? The brightness is less than the surrounding. It is dark. This is dark. So this is a subchorionic hematoma. That there has been some bleeding beneath the chorionic tissue. So this can be a threatened miscarriage. Pregnancy may or may not thrive. Got it? Clear? Ectopic pregnancy. So here the pregnancy is in the fallopian tube. You might get one showing the uterine cavity will be empty, and you will see the ring of fire sign in the fallopian tube. It is difficult for undergraduate discussion. You just know this will be, there will be a pseudo sac in the endometrium and a ring of fire that is denoting the pregnancy in the adnexa. Adnexa means tube, ovary, anything this, adjacent to the uterus is adnexa. Now what is this diagnosis? Placenta, cervix, fetal head. What do you think it could be? Low-lying placenta. Low-lying placenta. You have to know the types of placenta, previa, low-lying placenta. Type 1, 2, 3, 4, anterior, posterior, which is dangerous. All this discussion you will do, and for any antepartum hemorrhage, if you see, you will do an ultrasound and see this. What is this? So what has happened? Could be. Now what is it? Is Spalding sign? I don't know what is Spalding sign. What has happened? First say there is an intrauterine fetal death. We suspect, I suspect the fetus has undergone demise. There is an intrauterine, possibly has undergone a fetal death. তুমি অত কনফার্ম কি করে হচ্ছে? Spalding sign অন্য কিছু এঁকে দিল কেউ। You suspect that this might happen. What is this? Amniotic fluid. This is how the amniotic fluid is carried. See, amniotic fluid is hypoequic. Any fluid is dark in color. We have explained that means the sound wave is not creating a brightness here. The B mode is hypoechoic here. And the fetus is moving, heart is moving, that is M mode. Anything in motion. This is oligohydramnios. That is the amniotic fluid C is very less. There are reasons why oligohydramnios can occur. What is the commonest cause of oligohydramnios? The fetus is not growing properly. Although congenital defects may be present, posterior urethral valve থাকতে পারে. Okay, so there can be leakage also. Rupture of membrane has occurred. So these discussions will follow. If you get a plate like this and you are asked in OSPI, 1 or 2 questions from here can come. What is this? Breach. Why are you saying breach? What is breach? What do you mean by breach? What is breach? Buttocks of whom? Breach is a presentation. It is a presentation. What is presentation? The part of the fetus that occupies the lower segment. এই তো পরীক্ষা দিয়েছো আমি বলে যাচ্ছি তোমরা চুপ করে থাকলে। And presenting part is one that occupies the internal os. Lower pole to presentation হয়ে গেল। And presenting part, so here the breach is the presentation. And the presenting part is the denominator is the sacrum. Denominator is the sacrum. What is denominator? Bony prominence on the presenting part, arbitrary bony prominence, which comes in contact with different quadrants of the maternal pelvis during the course of labor. This is the definition of denominator. অঙ্কের মতো মনে রাখতে হবে। অঙ্ক ভালোবাসতে? তাহলে কি আর ডাক্তারি করতে আসি? অঙ্ক ভালোবাসতে হবে। There is mathematics in nature, but it is not always 2 plus 2 4. There is a chance of variation, and the variation limit, if it is crossed, it is abnormal. This is natural science. This is medical science. Don't expect 100%. What is this? Sorry, this is the BPD that we measure. Head circumference. This is how the head circumference. These are the structures that should be seen. The thalami. There are structures which should be seen. The third ventricles. So occipitofrontal diameter, the head circumference, and the BPD. This is how they calculate the biometry in the later trimester, that is second trimester onwards. First trimester বোঝা যাবে না, it is too small. First trimester biometry patterns কি কি? CRL, gestational cell, yolk sac, embryo, CRL, cardiac activity. This much for first trimester. This is, what is this? Diaphysis. Why we are measuring this? Dating, age, gestational age. Epiphyseal closure is calculated from this diaphysis and epiphysis. Go back to your osteology class. When the epiphysis unites, this is how the dating is being done. Previously, it was done by X-ray, but we don't want the mother to have radiation hazard. How much radiation is allowed in pregnancy? 5 racks. এর বেশি করা যাবে না। So this is obsolete nowadays. Chest X-ray, X-rays we don't do. Why? For fear of? Why? What happens? Teratogenesis. So this is the BPD and this is the AC. AC means abdominal circumference. Why do we measure the abdominal circumference? This gives an idea about the liver growth. Fetal weight, it's a nutritional, but if the baby is not growing properly, the interval growth is less, this we can detect by this abdominal circumference. This is very sensitive index. What is this? Dilated, still lateral ventricles are dilated. This is a hydrocephalus. The bilateral diameter will be large. So we have to manage this case. Maybe the baby will not thrive. There are operations where you can correct. Nowadays we can do fetal surgery, shunt operation, ventriculoperitoneal shunt. In utero fetal surgery is possible these days. Not everywhere, but whether the baby will thrive or not, that we have to discuss with the pediatric or neonatal surgeon or fetal surgeons who are there now. What is this? A frog face in anencephaly. Anencephaly. That means the cranium is not present. Cranium is not present. That means the posterior pituitary is also not present. There is a relation between onset of labor and the fetal pituitary. Sometimes these patients don't go into labor. This could be the reason. I am giving you anecdotes so that you remember. You remember the picture. If it is given, you identify. Now this is Doppler study. The B mode, M mode we have discussed, and this is the Doppler study. Why do we do the Doppler study? Umbilical artery. Umbilical artery, normal pregnancy, there is a progressive increase in end diastolic velocity due to growth and dilatation of the umbilical circulation. See, the umbilical vessels are connecting to the fetus. With as the pregnancy advances, there is a progressive increase in end diastolic. End diastolic means when the heart is in the diastole phase, then the blood flow is continuing. That means the flow is okay. But if there is increase in resistance, if the vessel is contracting, the force will not be so fast. So that will be resistance. That means the blood flow from the placental fetus, there is feto-placental insufficiency. Blood from mother to fetus is not going. This is broadly speaking, you don't need it so much. Professor Arup Maji has told me not to discuss these things with you. This is too difficult perhaps for undergraduate, but just a line or two. Normal pregnancy, you have this curves, reduce end diastolic. See, the end diastolic velocity is this much. See this one? This has reduced. And then this is absent and this is reversed. That is progressively the fetus is moving towards demise. Okay, this happens in preeclampsia, FGR, we call it FGR, fetal growth restriction these days. This is the umbilical artery showing the waveforms. This is uterine artery. Uterine artery can predict HDP, hypertensive disorders of pregnancy. See the abnormal uterine artery, there is a diastolic notch. Okay, it is absent in a normal uterine artery waveform. Waveform, how is it formed? We have understood. Doppler, the sound waves go, they are deflected because this is a moving object. Every minute there is a change in velocity. What is the difference between speed and velocity? Speed and velocity. Ekdom chole jao, onke chole jao. Speed. Velocity has direction. Velocity has direction, yes. That is why Doppler velocity. Doppler has velocity. So this is the uterine artery, and this is the ductus venosus. What is the ductus venosus? Ductus venosus is a direct communication between from the umbilical, the fetal circulation to the inferior vena cava, direct atria ঢুকে যাচ্ছে. When ductus venosus is absent, we might have problems in cardiac circulation of fetus. At present, I have a patient who has absent ductus venosus on her Doppler velocity. I am still waiting for her to deliver, and I want to see whether she has any anomaly. No anomaly has been detected. She is diabetic. She is diabetic, so we can't expect anomalies. All the tests have not shown anything else but for a absent ductus venosus. Otherwise, it will have an abnormal wave. This is how it goes. S wave, systolic wave, diastolic wave, and atrial contraction produces a wave. It is usually a triphasic wave. Okay, you don't have to know so much. Just a name. And fetal middle cerebral artery, if it is a high resistance flow, but if the fetal growth is restricted, we will have increased flow. Okay, so this is reduced pulsatility index at 37 weeks. In normal pulsatility index at 36 weeks. This is reduced. There is brain sparing effect. When the fetus is not growing, nature tries to push back the circulation more towards the brain. So the brain sparing effect. That means brain is spared, other organs will be smaller in size. Most early affected would be that AC, abdominal circumference, because liver will be small in size. Okay, this is middle cerebral artery velocity. Now, what is this? We are jumping back to away from obstetrics now. What is this? This is fibroid. This is the normal uterus, the endometrial, the trilaminar line. This is the endometrium. You will see 3 lines. This is the myometrium. See, the ecostructure is different. This is what we call ecostructure. What the structure will look like in the gray mode. Gray mode means it will transit from black to white. This is the fundus, endometrium, myometrium. And when there is a fibroid, see, it has distorted this anatomy. Can you see the fibroid? This is the fibroid. This can be given as an OSPE. This is a submucous fibroid. It would be a bit difficult for you, but this is submucous fibroid. It's difficult to get in a normal transabdominal scan. We have to do a transvaginal scan, and it is better visible on any idea? It is better visible on MRI, magnetic resonance imaging. Okay, how MRI is formed, magnetic field diye, how the electrons jump from the orbits and come back. This is reflected on electrical imaging. This is physics. The top, which we have discussed. This is the cyst, ovarian cyst. It's a benign simple cyst. You see a hypoechoic. There is clear liquid. That is why you see the shadow is black. This is benign hemorrhagic cyst. That means there is blood inside. See, the texture has changed from dark black to mild gray. This is benign cyst with septation. Can you see the septations? This is the septa are more hyperechoic than the loculi. Then malignancy with papillary projection. See, these are more hyper solid projections. Then these are showing solid components. And here there is ascites also. Apart from the solid structures of the ovary, there is ascites. What is ascites? Peritoneal cavity. Bolta. This is an IOTA classification, that is International Ovarian Tumor Analysis, whether it is benign or malignant. If we have one or more B factors like, say, unilocular cyst, presence of solid components but less than 7 millimeter, presence of acoustic shadows, multilocular tumor with largest diameter less than 10 centimeter, and no blood flow. That means Doppler, if you do, there will be no flow. This is more or less benign. And malignant fetal irregular solid tumor, presence of ascites and papillary structures, at least 4. And if you find one or more M factors and no B, then it is malignant. If you have one or more B and no M, it is benign. But what if we have one of each? It is inconclusive, indeterminate. So this is the, if neither are present or both are present, the results are inconclusive. Here, a specialist must opine. The oncologist, your surgeon, all should put their heads together and do the best you can for the patient. Ultimate goal কিন্তু পেশেন্টকে দেখতে হবে, যতই কথা বলো, বক্তৃতা দাও, যাই করো। This is an adnex model, you don't have to know this. This is the ovarian tumor with different rates. See, the vascularity has increased, but this is normal picture in case of different reproductive phases. Okay, you don't have to do anything. So you have to identify what is normal and what is abnormal. This is normal for her age. It's normal ovarian appearance. Nothing needs to be done. And this is a normal ovarian appearance in the reproductive age group. During ovulation, periovulatory phase, there is increased vascularity. So you might have a picture of this kind. So don't stamp your patient, a benign patient, you have malignancy, and let her cry and die out of no reason whatsoever. She commits a suicide. You have said such things about her that she goes and commits suicide. So you will be behind bars. So your knowledge should be profound. Before you say anything, you have to be 100 times confident of what you are saying and what you know. Take the opinion of a cross-speciality opinion should be taken. Don't jump, bhai, tomar cancer hoite hoy, tumi to bas hoye gelo. মেয়েটি সুস্থ মেয়ে গিয়ে সুইসাইড করে ফেলবে, ঠিক আছে? So be careful of what you say, what you do, and what you study. The key points to detect pregnancy site: number, gestational age, growth, development, anomaly, and nowadays also we can do ultrasound. We can see the progress of labor, how far the fetal head had descended. We can see with ultrasound. Angle of progression. These are more detailed structures, but this can be done with ultrasound. And gynecology, we have to detect uterus and adnexal anomalies, endometriosis, neoplasms. Broadly speaking, you must have an idea about